Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of the Ochd?
Hey everybody, it's Tafony here once again, and today's rambling about is going to be on the DivKid / Instruo modular Ochd. It is a 4 HP, 8 LFO, unclocked Eurorack module. It has 8 manually clocked, totally drifting, swaying, well, not drifting off of the LFO itself per se, but a litany of modulation in a very small package. And it is a powerhouse for its size, I would say. But before we get into that, the quick disclaimer is I'm not affiliated with DivKid or Instruo or anybody at all for that matter. I'm just some synthesizer dork online. I bought this used with my own money locally here in Vancouver. And this isn't journalism. This is just my own ramblings, my own misconceptions about the module. And more importantly than all that, it sounds like this. What you're hearing right now is just a sequence on the winter plankton zaps. Now, it's one voice, it has lots of points of modulation, and it's sort of, being that as one trigger in, kind of the crux, the idea behind the module is that you, or my understanding of it, is you just send it tons of modulation and make every different trigger just like completely unique and syncussion style. You want to just bleep and bloop it, modulate the crap out of it so that every unique hit is unique. So what we're going to do is take our Ochd, and I'm going to go over the panel very quickly here, but there's not too much to know here. So there's a rate. I will talk about this probably a lot in the end here, but I wish this was clockable over gate. I would love 8 clocked LFOs in one simple tiny package. That is awesome, and I appreciate that some people don't care in the slightest about that, but for me that would have been so killer. But what we do get is manual control over rate, and the reason I bring up that clock thing first is just to give you the perspective that I'm coming from. But remember, everything module, obviously you can do anything with it and everything with it, and you might, part of the nice thing about this is you have all these unique modulation sources that aren't related to each other. I mean, they sort of are in the sense that they're all the same triangle waves, but they're all different speeds, so it's easy to just grab a whole bunch of, there's 8 unique sources of modulation and just send them everywhere, and that's what we're going to do. So there's rate control, so you can get really fast with it, and nice indicators on all 8 of the outputs here to see how fast your LFOs are moving, right? So if you go all the way up, it's oscillating so quick it's not flashing at all, but if you go down real slow, it'll basically look like all of them aren't moving, and especially the slower outputs, they're going to look like not moving at all. So we'll crank it up a little bit here so you can just see, like, the higher up it is, the faster it is, right? And the lower down it is, the slower it is. So these can get like real slow if that's what you're into, and that's awesome. Now there is CV control over the rate, but again, not clockable. So what I can do, I'll send a CV in here, and this is just the voltage output of the lapses os, and there is also an attenuator here for it. So I'll leave that at noon, I'll leave my rate a little higher, and then if I bring in some voltage from the lapses os, it's going to speed up. So if I crank the attenuator as well, you'll see, more voltage going to all the outputs, obviously. So for now, I will leave that patched in, but we're going to take it off. So right now this is, you can see, hopefully my camera's not blocking it, but we can see what's going on with all those. They are moving, they are modulating, and they are doing so based on that rate knob. And so, what the beauty of this is just simple patching. So I'm going to turn up the volume of our, I want to say winter modular, but it is winter plankton zaps. So let's turn up the volume of that. I'll turn down its reverb so it's a little easier to hear. And we'll go into a different bank. Yeah, this is nice analog-y Tommy, I guess, sound. And then we're just going to start patching it up. So I will take the... sorry, I need to see on the tiny, tiny accent input. So we're going to give it some accents. And I'll just pick this one at random. And a nice thing to do with this too, and I don't think the accent's going to be the best demonstrator of that, but just jumping around, like, how does it sound? Now, accent, not the best demo of this, so I'm just going to throw this in the quickest one, so yeah, moving a little bit, right? Nothing too crazy. But if we go to this now, this is the slot input, and I'll give it a little bit of a faster one. So now we're changing the slot, and this is just like an entire switch of the sound. So I've patched that in now, and our triggers are going to change, or our triggers are going to play the sound, but the indicated by this LED here is just going to cycle through all those sounds. So right now we're already modulating like crazy, and it sounds bleepy and bloopy already, and I really like that. And I promise this video won't be too focused on the zaps, because I do hope one day to know the zaps well enough to do a video on it, but that day is not today, that's for sure. So now we're going to do volt per octave, and you might want quantized volt per octave, but in something this bleepy and bloopy and on the zaps, I'd love to send it just a triangle wave LFO like the Ochd provides, so let's send it that. And let's switch banks for fun so we can hear something different. Now my sequence isn't changing, my modulation isn't changing, but the sounds are going to change, so it's not, you know, if you're going to be listening to me ramble for 10-20 minutes, then we can hear some different sounds while we do that. So I'm going to bring a little reverb too, because I really like how it sounds. Now, not related to the Ochd, the reverb, but I think it sounds pretty. And again, this isn't journalism, we're just having fun, and we're just here to enjoy modular. I'm not trying to sound like Bob Ross, I promise. So now let's patch up our random input. Now you might want to send it a random source, but for fun, we're going to send it some Ochd. Yeah. I really like that. Okay. And because this isn't a video on sounds, I don't know. Oh, this is the release input. Okay, I'm about to not know what this input is for because it's signable, but this is the release input, so we're going to patch that. Yeah. If I can give a teaser for the Zaps video, I'd just say that, like, I have no idea what it's doing, and I really like it. It bleeps in beautiful ways. Oh. I'm becoming an ambient artist now. I'm just kidding. I'm not that talented. Okay, let's go to bank 6. Now, under heavy modulation, you're noticing that these bank changes, they aren't changing it as much because we've controlled it so much by modulating it. So, speaking of modulation, I don't know what this assignable input is going to control, but we're going to patch it anyway. And let's make it the super slow one, so. consider the super slow modulation sort of implies that it's like not drastic, but remember too that the peaks of super slow modulation are also going to mean that it's going to hold a value really high for really long. So like, yeah, it's not wobbly, but it's, I hope that made any semblance of sense. But think that, like, let's pretend that assignable input is assigned to the noise level. Well, at its peaks, it's going to be holding the noise for a really long time. So yeah, it's slower, but it's not necessarily less aggressive. So let's try a different input too. And we are out of inputs on the zaps, which that's very cool. But that is sounding cooler. I don't know what that's controlling, but this is the beauty of modular. There's the spaghetti go burr, if you will. Spaghetti. 8 sources of spaghetti. Now we do have 2 sources of spaghetti left, and if I can find 2 spaghetti pieces, spaghetti noodles, we're going to grab those. And yes, my colors are very uncoordinated. If that is something that's important to you, I apologize, but it does make it really easy for me to know which is which when there's 8 of them coming out. So what I think I'll do with this one is modulate some of the blend of the reverb. Yeah. Interesting. There it goes. Oh, that's fun. Okay, I might have to take back some of the things I said about not liking the clockness of it, because that's really cool. Oh, that is. Yeah, I mean... Oh, does Moog Versio? I mean, I know I did a video already, but... Oh, it sounds so good. Alright, let's engage some overseer and send it some LFO and see how that sounds. Hopefully I don't need to attenuate it, because there's no attenuators on board. Remember what I said about the really slow LFOs? Yeah, here it goes. Yeah, definitely need to attenuate that one. Actually, you know what? I can. We're going to take our CV out of there. So I like that, but yeah, maybe that one thing that maybe the one thing that, you know, it'd be nice if they were attenuatable, but you know, like, these are the trade-offs you made, right? 4 HP. What do you want? Yeah. I don't know. If that sounds... Yeah, that's the LFO over the DJ filter. Come back to center, and then it's... negative territory. Nope. Yeah, that's that reverb blend too. Oh. Yep. Problem with some of these videos is that sorry, I just muted it. It didn't mute itself. I'm coming into this thinking, you know what, Ochd, like, I like it, but it's not clocked. I don't really find a use for it too much. And then, okay, how do I demonstrate it? Well, here's a use for it that I really enjoy. Well, now, yeah, shoot, might have to keep this one. I actually really like it. Yeah. And you know what? Even with my gripes, a lot of people have said to me that they don't see a reason for clocked LFOs, and they prefer the free running nature of it and the different modulation sources you get from that. So if you fall into that category, then, like, it's hard to beat Ochd for the size and price. Like, you want 8 LFOs, right? Yeah, that being all said, I'm Tafony. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.